All right, you guys, I am so excited for this Zoom tonight. This is the first in a series that we're doing called Legacy Spotlight. And because this is all about legacy, we're going to be telling stories. We're going to have so many different um, leaders that are on our team that we're going to highlight each and every week and let them tell their story. And, you know, Rusty and I were talking and we thought, there's so much there's so many how to trainings going on, and that's awesome. We need it. Everybody needs that. But when Rusty and I were I mean, we've been around a little while, and for us, network marketing was all about the stories. It was all about who were you? What did you see in network marketing? And what did you do? And where are you now? And those stories are what kept Blair and I in the network marketing industry for 30 years. It was the stories that went into our heart, and it evoked an emotion that helped us to believe that we could do it too. And so we decided that was missing and we needed that. You know, Pam is really good on the Monday night Show Me the Money calls, but we wanted to highlight our leaders, and we're going to archive these and put them in where you can access them. And so tonight we decided we were going to start with the very first person that was he's the oldest distributor, meaning length of time in the company, going on 19 years, I believe. And he's a presidential diamond. He and his wife are the reason that Blair and I are in the business today. We're so grateful. He is all of our upline. And so without further ado, I would love to turn this over to Presidential Diamond Rusty and Robin Lackey, and they're going to tell and share their story with you. So y'all just hang tight, because if you've never heard their story, you're in for a real treat. So Rusty and Robin, oh my goodness, we're doing this.
Yeah, this is going to be a wonderful series, and this is what's kept me in the game for all these years. And I never believed in network marketing. I thought it was one of those scammy Ponzi scheme type of things. And to start, when I met Robin in 1979, as soon as I saw her, I fell in love with her, Mel. And I'm seriously, and her mother's here staying with us during the COVID thing, and I walked out to the car with her, and I said, Robin, I said, I think I just fell in love with you. And I said, I felt something funny here. I ain't never felt that before. And she laughed, and I asked my sister, I said, the next day, I said, did you tell Robin I'd like to ask her out? I fell in love with her. She said, oh, yeah. She went home and told her mother about that display of emotion you had. And I said, so you didn't ask her? She said, are you kidding? As soon as she told her mama, she went in the bathroom and threw up. And I said, oh, okay. So I went to her mama's house, and I knocked on the door, and I said, Miss Crowder, I'm the boy who fell in love with your daughter yesterday, and I'd like to have your permission to take you out. She said she don't want to see you. I said, oh, okay. Well, I said, I'll see you tomorrow. This went on for 4 days, and I said, look, I got every day the rest of my life to beat the paint outside your house, because I know how I felt, and I'm real sure about that. And we've been together going on this February the 17th, 42 years.
Wow.
And I wouldn't want to do life with nobody except Robin. And, we got married, and I come home 13 months later, and she said, oh, I got some news for you. And I said, well, I got some news for you too. And I said, what's your news? You probably need to go first. She said, we're going to have a baby. I got sick on my stomach. I said, oh, no. Oh, I want a big family. I come from a farm where we have a big family. And she said, what's your news? I said, I just lost my job. She said, oh, I believe in you. You'll get another one. Mm-hmm. I didn't tell her I'd done been to 5 places on the way home from getting fired. And there wasn't nobody hiring no guys with strong backs and weak minds at that point. And she said, I'll believe in you. For the next 6 months, I couldn't find nothing. It got really rough. And I want to highlight this part of our story to tell you about this Ponzi scheme I've been doing for 19 years. We got to where they turned our power off. We lived in a little mobile home. It was in July. It was hot. She's pregnant. No food in the house. And I kept telling her, so one day I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. I'm going to take you places you ain't never been. She said, man, we ain't eating 3 days. Why don't you get some food in the house? If any of y'all ever seen that guy I work out with, he's a pro bodybuilder. He's been one of my best friends for about 40 years. He gave me a job on the side and made enough money the first day to put $5 worth of gas in my truck, buy a 100-pound sack of dry pinto beans, and get the lights turned back on. And I come home carrying a burlap sack. She said, "What is that?" I said, "We ain't gonna be hungry for a long time." I said, "These some dry beans." And for the next 6 months, that's what we had to eat. And I have not eaten a pinto bean in about 30 years. And I look at them right now and I get kind of nauseous. And then a contact my father had. My father was a minister for a lot of years over in Washington, D.C. I'm really good with numbers, and that's a dyslexia thing. And he called me and said, "I'd like for you to come interview for a job up here at the bank. Your daddy said you're good with numbers." I said, "I ain't got no clothes to wear at no bank and no Washington, D.C. I ain't got enough money to get out of town, much less come to D.C. He said, "I'll pay for everything if you'll come and just train with us for 2 weeks and let's see." I got up there and I figured some stuff out for them, created a little 3-step system to make the merchants see how valuable a particular product they couldn't get off the market. And then I become Market of the Year in 90 days. That was in the 1st of October. By the time we went for the Christmas party in Washington, D.C., that's how I done it. And they asked me, "How did you become Market of the Year?" I said, "Well, I figured some stuff out. And while the rest of them were playing golf and they would leave at a certain time, I stayed and I would work till they ran me out of the bank." I said, "I outworked everybody because we was in a need for me to support my wife and gonna have my baby." And so I worked at that particular bank, got a chance to work with Congressman Hunkin in the banking law department, really met a lot of people, did really well, but got tired of that commute, ended up going to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I become a senior vice president of a major bank, one of the top 5 banks in North Carolina. And now I'm doing major corporation takeovers, mergers, acquisitions, making more money than I knew what to do with. Had a strong salary, about $550 a year, not counting the perks. I had access to a private jet. And I didn't even know there's that kind of money in the world. I just outworked everybody. Now I got 2 little girls. And I'm sitting in my office one afternoon, Mel, and Leslie, my little secretary, she come beating on the door and she said, "Rusty, Robin needs to speak to you right now." And then both my little girls played ball. I thought one of them fell and broke their arm. I jerked the phone up. I said, "What, Robin, what is it?" She said, "You ain't gonna believe it." I said, "What?" She said, "I found a product where I can lose inches of fat in minutes." I said, "No, I played ball at Georgia Tech in 1983. The inches of fat." She said, "I found it." I said, "Praise the Lord. I'm glad somebody found it, but that ain't gonna work, Miss Lackey." I said, "But if it makes you happy, I'm just tickled to death." She said, "There's a girl coming over to my house Friday. I want you to be here to see it." I said, "Okay." So I'm sitting here at the house, Melody, and there's a girl pulled up. Pam Souter sent her over here. She walked up our driveway like she owned the entire Western Hemisphere, and she had all this confidence. And I did major negotiations for a living, and I thought, Robin's worried about this 2 baby pooch from having our 2 little girls now. And she had my mom over here, and she had something wrong with her neck, or that hang down from the neck. And this girl come in, and she said they're gonna lose inches. She's telling me all this stuff. I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. See this tape measure right here? This tape measure ain't gonna tell no lies. She's gonna do that in 45 minutes. I'm gonna sit right here and watch it." So I measured Robin. They put the applicator on her, and then they wrapped my mom up. Looked like she had a toothache. Had a big bow on top of her head. Her chin's off. Some of that hanging chin was gone when she took it off, and I remeasured Robin, and she didn't know, Melody. I started to marking the gals, or Robin. I said, "If I mark this with a Sharpie, I know that ain't gonna come off." And so she was down 2 3/4 inches, I think. Now we ain't supposed to say inches, but back then that's what happened. And I looked at the girl. She said, I said, "Yeah, well, that'll all be back tomorrow. That has to be some kind of water weight. And I understand about toxic bloat." And she said, "Oh, no, in the next 3 days, she's going to lose even more." I said, "I'll tell you what you do. You'll have to be back in 3 days to prove it to me." And we went on about our business. And the next Monday morning, this was on a Friday, on Monday, a little girl knocked at our door. I looked at her and said, "Oh, my God, Robin, it's that girl getting $20 more. She needs some gas money today." I'm being sarcastic. And I forgot all about it, but then Marks was still on Robin's sides. So I marked it. Now she's down about 4 or 5 inches, and it's visible. And the little girl said, "See, I told you." I said, "Well," and she started telling me how this thing works. And she said, "Well, I'll tell you what, to prove to you this really works, why don't y'all have a losers party?" The losers party. What is that? I said, "I need to go get all the homeless people, bring them out here to my neighborhood." She said, "No, get a bunch of girls over here and let them try it. I'm going to charge them $20 a piece. And the next Monday night, there was 23 ladies that showed up. Now, Robin loves to entertain. If you ever come here, you're going to eat more than you can imagine. My kitchen counters are full. My kitchen table's full. My breakfast nook over there is full. There's girls walking around eating like they ain't eat all weekend. A girl brought in this white box. It had 12 bottles of wine in it. I don't know what it is about you ladies and having a party and drinking wine. And I started laughing myself, Melanie. I went in my office and shut the door, and I'm about to laugh myself to death. I called my daddy. I said, man, why don't you come over here and get me? All these women got my driveway. I can't even get the four-wheelers out and ride over the mountain over to your house. He said, no, your mom and your sister, I ain't coming over there. I said, well, I appreciate that, best friend. And about an hour later, Mel, I heard a bunch of squealing and a hooping and a hollering like I ain't never heard in my life. I hit the steps two at a time, just around the corner. I saw the most excited ladies I'd ever seen in my life. And I said, all right, what's the result? So the least lost 2 1/4, the one lost the most was 6 1/2, and everybody fell in between that. And those girls was buying applicators like that, the money grew on a plantation somewhere. And I started asking questions. This little girl they sent over here, I said, what's your contingent plan for overgrowth? How well are you funded for this product? And I'm thinking if John Q. Public gets a hold of this, I kind of want to be in this deal. I had no idea it's network marketing. And she said, I don't know. I said, well, who knows? And she said, Mark Pentecost. Now, I read a book. I have a signed copy of the first book Mark when Cindy was in. I bought it in an auction in Dallas, Texas, and I got it signed into my trophy case. And I said, Mark Pentecost, the old boy that did that phone deal. She said, that's him. I said, how soon can I talk to that old boy? She said, in the morning. I said, call and tell him I'm going to talk to him at 7 o'clock. I said, don't be late because I have to fly out at lunch and I have to drive to Charlotte. Next morning, Mark called me. I said, how you doing? Went through it. I said, look, I couldn't sleep all night. I always knew if you got the right product at the right time, little fortunes could be made, and you could go after the most important thing in your life, which is your freedom. And then when I got on the phone, I asked him all these crazy questions. He answered every one of them. But it's something he did. He casted a vision. He didn't tell me what he was going to do, what kind of car he had. He didn't tell me about products. He said, this is a vision where I'm going to go with his company. And he struck a nerve in my heart. And he said, you ready to do it? I said, no, that's one of them network marketing things. That's that Ponzi scheme. And I ain't ever seen nobody make no money except you. And for the next 7.5 months, we talked almost every single day, 7 days a week. And here's where it got real. I called to fly out 3 hours late to go see Elle and Samantha get their awards where they played sport. This particular year, I missed a Christmas church function. I missed every ball game. And I missed everything about their life. Every time I flew home at the end of the month, looked like I grew 2 or 3 inches. And I'm missing what's most important to me is the life of my kids. And so I called my boss to fly out 3 hours late to New Orleans. And Brian said, I shouldn't have called his name. But anyway, he said, no. I said, well, why not? I ain't got to be there tomorrow. He said, because I said so. I said, oh, you micromanaging now. Tore me up. I was so mad on the inside. If I'd have been there, I'd have probably choked him out. But I looked at Elle and Samantha. I said, I promise to God, I can't go to the awards, but I ain't going to never miss nothing the rest of your life. And Samantha, Melly knows Samantha real well. She said, Pinky, promise. I locked Pinky to both. I said, I promise to God, if I'm smart enough to do it for him, I can do it for me. Flew in on Sunday. Went to the bank on Monday morning. I was there bright and early. Top elevator, walked off in his office. He said, why didn't you get on the jet? I said, because you fired. He said, I'm fired. What does that mean? I said, well, you don't take a genius to figure that out. I don't work for you no more. He said, who did you go with? I said, I'm going to go home and do network marketing. He started laughing and making fun of it. I said, well, that other guy's leaving with me too. He said, who's that? I said, my work ethic. I said, I was poor and I was chasing money. I said, I was chasing things to give my family a better lifestyle. And if I'm smart enough to do it for you, if I get committed, I can do it for me too. I hit the elevator to come out the bottom, got in my truck. I'm coming down I-85, and I get this cold chill in my gut. And I called my daddy. I said, Daddy, I need you to run over to the house and tell Robin something. He said, what? What's wrong? I said, I just quit my job. Now, my father had a zero tolerance for disrespect for women, period. That's why we've been together so long, because of the sheer respect. I ain't saying I'm not A sometimes, but he said, why did you not discuss it with her, and why do I need to go tell her? I said, well, if I'd have told her what I planned on doing after what happened last Thursday, I said, she'd talk me out of it. And I have a greater plan that's in my heart. I got the burning desire. He said, well, that's all well and good, but you're going to have to tell it by yourself. So I crossed the Yadkin River. Everybody knows I used to get introduced to the stage to Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner. That's the group I was listening to. I turned it up really loud so the ambiance would be just right. So I'd get the adrenaline pump like when I played ball, get the warrior mentality. So I'd have the courage to tell my wife what I just did. So I backed in my driveway in case I had to make a quick exodus. And they would still tell me how sweet Alabama was. I was thinking to myself, I might have to go to Alabama in a few minutes. So I come up the steps where I was. Robin met me at the door, and she said, why are you home? We going somewhere? I said, no, we ain't going anywhere. I said, I got to be honest with you. I said, I just quit my job. She got this cold look on her face. She said, no, you didn't. I said, honest for God, I did. And when I told her that, I know none of you ladies have ever done this, but that's when Robin became instantaneously demon possessed. This is a green mist enveloped the room. She's breathing. I thought I was going to have to look up in the phone book a priest to get an exorcism going on because a demon possession kicked right in. And I knew if I didn't hurry up and get on the phone with Mark that we was going to be in trouble. But I had this thing where Mark has casted a vision, and all I saw was this particular vision. I knew if I would get focused and I would put the time in, that I could do exactly for me and him and what I did at the bank. Called Mark. I said, Mark, you ready to do this thing? He said, yeah. I said, I'm ready to do it. He said, you kidding? I said, no, I'm going to do it full time. He said, explain full time. I said, all right, I quit my job a while ago. My wife's demon possessed upstairs. I think she's got the look in her eyes. She's probably going to collect a life insurance policy today.
Yeah.
Man, you need to get busy. I said, I have a plan, and I'm compulsive with my work. Once I get committed, I don't quit. I don't give myself a particular time to get it done. I'm committed for life. I'm in it forever. He said, you really quit your job? I said, don't you get candy on me now. You sold me a vision, and I believe in you. Let's go. And I said, you never not answer my phone call. So I called the first 6 people. Everybody said, you crazy. Let me see that work for you first. That's that Ponzi network marketing. I said, yeah, but it's going to be the biggest thing I ever did. I wish you'd go with me, but if you don't, that's okay. Somebody will. Well, the next 5 or 6 people, they said yes. And we started doing the massive amounts of 3-way phone calls and conference calls. Me and Pam was on the phone 18, 20 hours a day. And we done that 7 days a week for the next 28 days. And it's God is my witness. This woman sitting right here. Our team grew to 635 people. And that's actually 3 years later, that was the birth of y'all. And they sent me my first check. I snuck out the back door to go out. Well, that's when they sent paper checks. And I went out to the mailbox and I got it. And I come in my office. I snuck back in. I hadn't been upstairs in, 28 days. I slept on the couch. But what gave me the driving factor, Mel, every afternoon when the kids got home, I had this headset on. And they would bring Mama's little silver tray out of her china cabinet. And they would have peanut butter sandwiches. And they would have little glasses of milk. And I would sit on the floor with them. And I would help them do their homework. I was doing 3-way phone calls and I loved them. But one thing I saw, my children started to gain confidence. They started to do better in school. They started to sleep better when I was daddy's at the house. It takes 2 parents to raise the children. And so I looked at that check and I'm saying, thank you, Jesus. There's a God in heaven. I'm going upstairs. I'm just all in a praise and worship. And I looked at it. I said, I got to show Robin. She's going to love me again. She'll cook me some home-cooked groceries. I'm tired of peanut butter sandwiches. I'll probably get to sleep in my bed tonight because that couch has got awful hard. And I showed her that check. She said, what is that? The check was for $9,997. I thought that was a good check. And then she told me how short I was for what I made at the bank. And I said, but I didn't have to leave the house to do it. And this is just the beginning. And I never left here to do it. And I'm going to impact more people. I'm going to cast more visions the rest of my life than I ever did. If I can do it this month, I'll do it next. And she said, well, I want to see you do it next month again. And so I went back into my office for the next 2 years. We threw everything we had into it, every fiber of my being. We worked together. To me and Pam was drinking mountain concoctions because we was losing our voice. We was talking so much. If you put the work in, people, this thing will happen. If you have the vision strong enough, you get committed to where you're going for life. It's nothing temporary, yes. And so that postured what our organization is doing well over $1 billion, well over it in the last 19 years. But the one thing that it postured my freedom. But then out of every adversity lies the seeds of an equal greater benefit. I started getting sick. And I started gaining a massive amount of weight. In the next 4 years, I went from about 258 as an athletic kind of guy to about 750 pounds. They found a tumor wrapped around my pituitary. And the treatment I had to go through was the most horrible thing I've ever done. And at that point, see, God knows everything that's going to happen before it happens. He puts you in a position because when it gets good, it's got to get hard again. So you grow through to the next level, if that makes any sense. So here I am. Now I'm an invalid. I can't do anything for myself, and the treatment is the most horrible thing that's ever happened to me. That's why I'm so direct, and I know I don't want nobody, the vision I see for people, I don't want you to ever be sick like that. And so the one thing that I can tell you as I finish up the story and give it to Robin is I've got paid to get healthy. So out of one action, there's two things that happened. I've regained my health, and I got paid a whole hell of a lot of money to get it done. And this little Ponzi scheme I've been doing for going into my 19th year. And so I can't tell you how bad my legs and the calves of my legs are so big around, they're black. I mean, Mel, you saw them before. Me and Mel was on the island one time. She kept looking at my legs. I saw them were tattoos that I got when I got sick. They looked like tree bark. And they was going to cut my legs off. They gave me 6 months to live. And I had to come home. Me and Robin had to come home and tell the kids because I've never believed in hiding nothing. And told the kids what's going to happen. And then my father come back that afternoon. He picked my big leg up. Wound care people had been here and bandaged my legs up where they had abscess and rupture. He picked it up. I said, "What are you doing, Daddy?" "I'm dying." He said, "I'm looking for an expiration date." I said, "You doing what?" "An expiration." I said, "Like going to the grocery store in the dairy?" He said, "Yeah, you ain't got one." And he looked at me and said, "God's the only one that's going to know when you're going to die. You have an appointed time in everything about your life." And I said, "It's up to him, not what the guy in the white coat said." And I was feeling sorry for myself about a day. And all of a sudden I got mad. I got angry. Seriously, angry to the point of tears. I called my two little girls and I said, "You know what? I don't know if I'm going to live or not, but your daddy ain't going to be a victim. And I'm not going to make every excuse in the world why we can't get it done. If I die, I will die out in the yard swinging. I'll cause an earthquake around here, big as I was, but I'm going to be swinging for everything I was worth." And I got up and I started making a conscious effort. I had to have platform canes to walk to the door. And then I eased out of the door when she wasn't at home. I'd ease out, and I kept doing it every day. Every time I felt like it, I got up, moved again, and I kept moving. And because I started to alkalize my body, that's when we brought the nutritional meal. And see, God even knew when that was going to happen, that particular time. He even knows why we are where we are right this minute. And I started taking I started getting alkalized. And in the last 15 years, I'm down well over 500 pounds. I hadn't had an aspirin for a headache in 15 years. I just had a physical. What did the doctor tell you at my physical last time?
Doctor said that Rusty had the blood work of an 18-year-old on the inside of his body. And so he didn't go on and pursue, once you hit 50 years of age, you have to have certain little things done when you go to the doctor for your physical. But he stopped the physical and didn't finish it because there was no need with blood work like Rusty's was and showing results of an 18-year-old person on the inside.
Well, when you start feeling good, and Mel, you and I have been through some things together, and God put you in my life in our organization because you and I were the first. We went through a rap shortage in about 8 weeks. We didn't have no raps. What did we do, Mel? We told our stories. We casted a vision. Got the raps back, things back up. We hit our next run. We're doing well. And all of a sudden we come up, we're growing so fast because the LD went crazy. And we're growing so fast, it shut the software down. We had a software crash. This company said, "Oh, we can handle it." Those old boys out in Phoenix, Arizona, they couldn't handle it. That took another 8 weeks. What did we do? We got back to sharing our stories, casting a vision for people. I don't care how well they train you how to do something, but when you create a physical story on a product, you won't quit. When you make up your mind that I have the best line of products in the world based for human consumption in the entire world, you get on the product, you start to share your physical story about a product. The money is irrelevant. We got a great business plan. Yes, we do. So when you get committed to a product line and you cast a vision and you can help somebody go from where they're feeling to feeling better or looking better, feeling better about themselves, people get emotionally attached to a story. That's exactly how Mel and I, we filled up casinos. We filled up coliseums. We filled up all kinds of rooms where they just pack them in like sardines because they wanted to hear the story, because your own personal story is the most important thing you've got. And it has to be based on a physical product, not the money. Money is a temporary thing. But when you help somebody gain their health, you can be in business as long as Mel and I. And so when you make up your mind, has it been easy? Absolutely not. Has it been worth it? Absolutely yes. When you make up your mind, I am committed. And once you get committed to that story and sharing it, because if you focus on the money, you'll be a quitter. You'll get your little title up there, and that title means so much to you, and you'll get a little stage time, and then all of a sudden something happens because you ain't got no core fiber. You ain't got no grit, no character, no integrity, and you'll sell out for $20. Next week, you'll have to sell out for $2. We ain't never quit. I know we've had the chance. Mel and I both had the chance to bounce and take the big dollars and leave. But you know what? I ain't a quitter, and I don't cheat. See, if I cheated and took the money they offered us even last week, I cheat on Robin. I cheat on my daughters. I cheat on myself. I cheat on Melody. I don't cheat like that. When I made up my mind, I'm in this for life. I'm totally committed to it. Bring it on. You know why? Because we're warriors. And when you make up your mind that all the blood in you, every time you circulate, you got the warrior mentality. And my grandfather told me a story. He fought directly under General George Patton. And he told me how I used to look at his medals when I was little, and he would tell me how he got that medal. He got to a couple medals. I said, well, how'd you get those? And he was apprehensive on telling me what he had to do to actually get them. And I said, wow. And then he got his legs froze off on the front line. They had to take him. He said, I went back in 3 days, and his legs, he had to open them up with a little pocket knife every week and drain those pockets from being frostbit. I said, how'd you do it? He said, I was a warrior, son. I said, okay, warrior. He said, the fuel I had was love, unconditional love. I said, you're killing people and you have unconditional love. It's fueling you. I don't understand it. He said, the love for your grandmother, the love for your daddy. I knew one day you was going to be here. The love I had for the freedom of my nation, the greatest nation on planet Earth today. He said, the love I had for it, I put everything I had on the line. I become a warrior, and because I love so deeply, so much, I done what was necessary to get the job done. I don't know how to be no other way. The love for every one of you, the unconditional love I have for my organization, for people I meet every day, the unconditional love I'm going to put me on the line every single day. And we could walk away from here and say, see y'all, and it don't matter. But you know what? Ain't no way. I'll fall over with Mark Pentecost. And let me tell you something interesting about your CEO. About 90 days later, Mel, I get a call from Mark because we promised each other, we talk every day. We promised we'd never tell each other a lie. We're going to be just straight up front. It's going to be a union, a relationship, a friendship for life. And we're great friends outside of this business. And he called me up and said, we broke. I said, would you break your leg? Or what do you mean we broke? He said, we ain't got no money. I said, well, I knew what you meant. I said, what you going to do about it? He said, I just sold my house so I can pay you this month. And you tell me that's not integrity. You tell me that everybody wants it easy. You know, what you're going to do is outwork them. You make up your mind, you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to take the necessary actions to go after, because you got a CEO that loves you deeply. He cares about you. His wife cares about you. Our whole culture that we've created is of integrity and character and grit to go out and change the world. And if you're not where you want to be, why aren't you telling your story? Why aren't you telling, well, it takes a while. You don't want my story. The first cup of Skinny Brew will create you a story of energy. Everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. And when you make up your mind that you're going to outwork everybody, you're going to put the work in. Because I had a lady today, she said, this just sounds too hard. I said, what do you do for a living? And she told me, I said, well, what if you don't show up? Do they pay you? She said, oh, no, I don't get paid. I said, if you show up and stay on your phone all day in the break room, well, were they going to pay you? She said, oh, no, I'd get fired. I said, so you have to show up and put the work in to get paid? I said, oh, my God. I said, I ain't saying this is get rich quick. No, you have to work your ever-loving ass off if you get in here. But you know what, Melanie? I didn't find nowhere else I could become a millionaire. And Melanie, we were the first 2 millionaires. And then we had a few more that come in right behind us. And you know what? When you make up your mind, I'm going to do it, you stop putting time limits and frames around you and giving you a way out. Most people, I'm going to try it for a minute. And next thing you know, guess what you do? You gave yourself a way out. And when you give yourself a way out, what begins to happen at that point? Because you're going to go back to the familiarity of the hell you're living in. It's familiar. Most people would rather live in hell than go do something different, stand up. This is the most opportune time in the history of the United States of America and in the world to go out and be anything you want to be. You create a story, you got to share in that story, you're going to change people's lives. See, if you'll stop focusing on who you are and where you're going, and you start focusing on your money and start focusing on how can I help Melody go to the next level? How can I help change this person's life with a physical product that changed mine? Shame on you if you ain't sharing it. Shame on you if you don't have a list that you're working on every single day. Stop making excuses for why you are where you are. Step out and take the chance. And you know what happened when I really started being successful, Mel? I stopped caring what other people thought, because I wanted to change everybody's life. Did I get a bunch of no's the first month? Yeah. Ask Pam. She'll tell you. We got shut down a lot, but it was a few little yeses that brought a Melody McFarland, a Tina Hatcliffe, a Chad and Jeria, a Susan Wade, Maria Napoli. I brought those people over in the Linda Wilson over in Tech. I brought all those great people into the organization. And say, I would have never met y'all if I would have just quit. When he said, yeah, I can't pay you. But you know what I told him, Melody? Ask him. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll remortgage everything I got over here, and I'll send you what money that they'll let me have on my house and everything. I believe in you that much because you was honest with me. You have integrity. And you know what, when you make up your mind that you're going to do it, there's a couple things going to begin to happen. People are going to see the difference in you. They're going to see the change in you because you're going to drastically change. And you're going to stop talking about all these little bitty things, and you're going to start rich people. I found people like Mark. He never told me about what he had, where he's going to go, nothing else. He just casted a vision. He said, we're going to impact people's lives all over the world. We're going to fill coliseums up. And daggone if it didn't happen, Mel. And so when you make up your mind that you're going to show up and you're going to be the difference, you don't realize. And when I look at this organization, and I talk to a lot of you every single day, I fill my day up with a calendar. And you know why? I look past Miss Lydia. I look past Melody. I started looking at her children. I saw her grandchildren. I said, if we help Melody become successful, and Melody didn't know help, hell, she just burnt this thing down. But I knew if at the time I spent on the phone with Blair going through this comp plan, that I would impact them grandchildren. One day, them grandchildren, because we didn't quit, they would impact somebody else. And when I talk to somebody else and you give them hope and vision, and when we're in this thing together, you know what's going to happen? This Ponzi scheme turned into a big business. It ain't Ponzi at all. And you know why? Because I have unlimited potential to go do anything I want to do. Now, out of every adversity that happened to me of being sick, I could have quit. I could have said, oh, I'm just so sick. And it was rough on this woman right here. You know why? She had to treat me like I was her baby boy, and at 750 pounds, she had to do things for me you don't want your sweetheart to do for you. But you know what? She's a real trooper. I ain't going to do any days the rest of my life without this girl right here. You know why? Because she stood the test of time when any other woman, I'm pretty sure, said, I'll see you, big boy. I'm out of here. But you know what? That's what true love is, true commitment. And when you make a true commitment, you don't sell out for a couple dollars. You know what? You can't reestablish your credibility and your grit. And you know what? If you love product that much, you never stop sharing the story. And when you continually to share the story, you know what? You're impacting other people. There's people that's been following me and Melody for years. It's just now getting in business with us. You know why? Because now the time is right, because we stood the test of time. It's the integrity and the character that we have here, because we never quit. Oh, it's been rough, ain't it, man? We've had times when we felt like just throwing the towel in. We'd stomp around and talk junk. And then we find out that one little reason why we got in it. And that one little reason, it would reinvigorate us. We'd hear another story because we showed up. And you hear that one story, how it impacted somebody's life. And you know what? When it does that, you get up and you're recharged up that day. That warrior mentality for the love of what you do and the love of people. That unconditional love fuels that warrior, and then you're ready to slay anything. Bring it on. If that's all you got, you playing with the wrong people today. And you know what? When you make up your mind, I'm coming after it, that's one thing you're going to do. One thing that I see it's lacking in all direct sales and all over the world is people not casting the vision. They're casting the vision because you know why they're not? Because they're scared to get committed to it, because they're worried about what somebody's going to say, worried about the economy. Hell, me and Melody ain't participated in this economy in a very long time. We created our own economy. You know what? I believe with every fiber of my being that we can help you create the same type of lifestyle, the same kind of economy. When you make up your mind to get committed, and when you get to the island, you take the kerosene and the jet fuel and you burn the boat, and you ain't got no way off it. So you have to conquer the island, and you get your real why. You know, I've been a full-time daddy, Melody. We've been a full-time family going on, Robin, 19 years. Mm-hmm. I watched my kids grow up. I never missed another school function, never missed another ball game. I never missed another nothing. I had that pleasure of taking my little girl's flowers to school and sending to the whole class and bouquets of flowers and Valentine's candy, even the teachers. And you know, how did we get to do it? No, we made a commitment. We believed in somebody. We believed in a vision, and we believed in us. And we got up and just went to work, and we just outworked everybody. And Melody, I couldn't see me doing anything else other than with Mark, and it works well. But you know why? He's a man of integrity, because I pray with that man every morning, and we've missed 3 days in all these years of praying together over every one of y'all, and praying over this company, and God giving us a direction. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna cast another vision with you. Something hit me at church last Sunday, shot me through the heart. I'm different. I have a new vision. Everything is that's bothered me from when I was a kid up to now. It's gone. It didn't come back. And the vision I have now for where we're going, I can promise you one thing. You ain't seen nothing compared to what's fixing to happen. And I'm not overly religious, I promise you, but you ain't seen nothing for what's fixing to happen if you stay the course and you make up your mind. No, when the fight gets hard, you get hard back with it. And there ain't nowhere to slack up and ain't nowhere to quit. When you make up your mind, I'm coming after this because my why is my children. And one day, probably pretty soon, I heard one of my daughters might be getting something. In about 2 or 3 years, I might have some grandkids. And I'm going to be physically fit and financially able to do whatever that grandkid wants to do. You know what? But if you understood and caught the vision I just caught for what just happened in my life in the last week, you would work harder than you ever did. You would not put any doubt in yourself. The one thing people want you to do, they want you to doubt yourself. They want you to doubt everything that's going on. And I don't care what's happening inside the United States. I don't care what's happening in the rest of the world. We ain't going nowhere. God says it's time. Your time is up. And you know what? When you make up your mind, you're going to stand up and you're going to fight for what's right. There's there's just a wrong and a right. But when you make up your mind that I'm worth it, my children are worth it, every fiber of my being is worth it, and I'm going to live the lifestyle I deserve, and I'm not going to go keep punching somebody else's clock. To me personally, that's your Ponzi scheme. When you make up your mind, you're just a decision away. I'm committed for life. Because Melody, when I went in and called Mark that one day, I said, I'm committed the rest of my life to you. If you hold it in the road over at the corporate, that little bitty office we had, I said, I'll hold it in the road in the field. And that's what we've been doing going on 19 years. Robin, you got anything, baby?
Well, I don't know. You said it all. The one thing I can tell you folks is that I wasn't on board for 2 years after Rusty joined this company. I brought the product to the table. I wasn't on board for 2 years. And I got so upset because he quit his banking job. We didn't come for money. We come from a mobile home. And I just seen that banking job putting me at home, having a family, and not having to work, and I could stay home and raise my kids. And so I got upset. I wasn't on board for the 2 years. But then when Rusty started getting sick, and Dr. Don at that time started coming in, works with some nutrition. And I knew that pharmaceutical things wasn't completely working for Rusty. And I'm not saying we don't have to have some pharmaceutical things, because I know we do. But I know that God also made us to do some things on our own naturally. And these whole food products started coming into this company and started changing my husband every day, every week. It started off day by day, and then it started off on the week, because the first 3 days on the product, when they sent the product to us, 3 products at that time, Rusty's life changed in the 3rd night. He slept for the first time. He had to sleep in a recliner, and he slept for the first time all night, something he hadn't done in a long time. And sitting up and sleeping puts a toll on your body. I know somebody doing it right now, and I'm really trying to help them. And so that's an unspoken request that y'all can pray about for this young girl. But these products started changing his life. And when it started changing his life, it changed our whole family's life. And we knew that we would be a lifetime with this company and these products. And the other thing is that Cindy Pentecost is a prayer warrior, and she has a prayer team. And she's put Melody and some of us on this prayer team through the years. But when I realized that Cindy, because Rusty's dad was a pastor for 55 years before we lost him. And when I realized that this company was on the right foundation, and I had a CEO and his wife that would pray for me and pray for you and everybody in this company and cared that much, that is a sincerity you can't buy, you can't get nowhere. And so that for me alone was enough for me to stay with this company if the products wouldn't have changed our lives at all, because that is true, right foundation. And that's absolutely what we're about. And this company is a ministry for us. And so I don't have no right to keep these products to myself, this story to myself. I have to go out and share it with other people, because Rusty hadn't been called to be a pastor like we always thought he might be. So our ministry is now to go out and tell the world about these products and share this story of ours far and wide. And sometimes people say, well, you tell the same old stories over and over. But you know what? It's our story. That's our story. So don't be ashamed to tell your story over and over. Don't try to critique it or change it and make it fit the world. It's your story. And every story is different. So there's somebody out there that needs to hear you guys' story.
That's right. Wow. So Rusty, got a last word here before we tell everybody good night?
Yeah. Make up your mind to get committed to your physical well-being. We have the product line that's the best in the world. You know, I'm not bragging. At 58, being like I'm 18, says the doctor, with not even an aspirin for headache in like 15 years. And my physical activity is just extreme. As far as my running, my lifting, I do it every day. And I don't want to go back to where I was. Make up your mind. Tonight is going to be the night you write your comeback story. Tonight you make up your mind, and I'm going to get the pen in my hand. I'm the author. I'm the author of my story. I will no longer allow other people to write my story or write me into my own book. I'm going to write my own book. I'm going to write my own story, and I'm going to impact the world. Because right this very minute, right this very second, there's somebody you ain't called for whatever reason. They need you to call them. Right now we're in a rough time in America. It's going to get better. I'm totally confident. I'm more confident I've ever been in my life that it's going to get better. It's going to be the best you've ever seen it. But you don't wait till you get thirsty to dig your well. You dig your well now. In the event you get thirsty, so this is what I want to leave you with. If you're not always in a state of prepare, you'll always be in a state of repair. You'll always be trying to repair it, and you'll waste your whole life. Say, don't go spend your time, go invest your time. And when you make up your mind and you have a daily plan of action and you invest your time, you'll always be prepared. And don't let $2 stand in your way from taking all the nutrition we got. Your body needs it because you're not getting it through your diet. And when you make up your mind, I'm going to go out, I'm going to be the difference in somebody else's life. You tell me what's better than that, and I promise you I can call Mr. Pentecost on this phone this very second. He'll answer the phone, and we'll start a structure to buy that company. I promise you. Let's see, we got the very best. I don't need anything else. You know why? Because you're the one that's creating your before and afters. Nobody else, it's you. And you got the compensation plan, the same one I got. You got the same product line that I got. The difference is, are you utilizing it to your fullest potential? So there's nothing here to hold you back except, well, you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It Works, really and truly, It Works Legacy Builders. And, you know, I'm so thankful because you opened the door for us. You know, you set the pace for us, and you pioneered that path for us. And so thank you guys so much. I love you, and I love your story. And we'll be back next week with another story. I think Blair and I are going to be on next week. And so every Thursday night right here, same time, same ID, same everything, just a different leader talking to you. So thank you again. I love you guys, Robin and Rusty. Love y'all. The best is yet to come.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, you guys.
Good night.
Our pleasure.
Good night.
Good night.